Oh, man, I gotta stand up for this, man. Oh, man, today, I'm telling you, man, I'm so pumped up today, man. I'm so pumped up, I almost can't even just sit here today, man. Anyways, man, yesterday, my man, Matthew Plante, launched his album, man. His album was launched yesterday. Man, first day, whoo, hundreds of people downloaded, man. I don't know, last time I checked, it was well over 200, almost, I think it's upwards, almost close to what, 500 people bought that album in one day. In one day. Come on, man. Woo! His whole album. What are you talking about? All the songs in which people been downloading, man. Man, you guys gotta understand why I'm so excited is because, you know what? This day is victory, man. You know, I've been telling you guys, man, about an opportunity to monetize your dreams, your goals, your vision, your product, your business. And, man, when I got to see that my brother, man, we've been in this fight, man, with the Lord, man. We've been just fighting for the Lord, man, for going on 3 weeks now, man. And to see everything God has been faithful to do over the last 3 weeks, man, I'm just so excited because this is the beginning, man. You know what? Our company here at VYB, Visualize Your Breakthrough, we just went ahead and launched our platform. All those entrepreneurs who went ahead and signed up, you know, during pre-launch, you know, to go ahead and be, you know, the first founders, you know, of this company. We're able to go ahead and buy our packages, you know, started on Saturday, you know, and man, it feels good, man. God bless me. You know, I just got my confirmation just came through. Not only did I get paid for, you know, blessing this company, bringing the entrepreneurs, the educators, you know, the content creators during pre-launch. Today I got to see my back office. I am official. It ain't even about pre-launch no more. HD Rhodes is officially back in business, man. I can cry, man, because I promised God in 2017 I was never doing business again. I was not going to do anything but focus 100% on his kingdom. And he brought me right back here where now not only am I fulfilling that promise, you know, preaching this word online on all 4 social media platforms. And now VYB's about to be the 5th one. I'm about to be bringing this word of God with fire, man, because that's what he sent me here on this earth to do. You know, I told y'all, man, you guys have opportunity to monetize your gifts. And the gift that God gave me is right here, man. God put me down on this earth to preach his word, to go ahead and speak life into all the people in which he brings to me, to speak his word, because his word is power, his word is life, and his word is spirit. And it is my job that he's put me on this earth to be able to speak life into you, because you guys could turn on the news. You guys can go to family members. You guys can go to friends. You can go to college. You guys can go anywhere on the planet and have someone just press you down, hold you down, tell you, you know, all the things you ain't gonna be able to do. But you know what? I'm telling you, if ain't nobody ever told you that they believe in you, I'm telling you right now, I believe in you. I believe in your dreams. I believe in your goals. I believe in the vision in which God has given you. I believe in the gifts that God has given you. And God has blessed me with a platform to be able to help you, to encourage you, and to help you monetize all those gifts that God has, and to be able to plug you in not only to the platform, but to, you know what, other entrepreneurs who are like-minded, so that you have people that you can come to, you can share your vision, your dreams, your goals, and they'll encourage you. This is a platform that is here to encourage those who believe and want for more. And that's what this is all about. VYB, VYB. Visualize your breakthrough, because you right there, you're the product, man. All we want to do is help you. And so I encourage you today, as I get ready to go through this, you know, man, it's a little different. Like I said, man, I feel like, man, I feel like like a little kid on Christmas who just got done seeing, he got the brand new Super Nintendo with the Mike Tyson Punch Out. And he got the, back then I had my Hot Wheel race car set. And I remember, man, I had Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers, and I didn't know which game I wanted to play first. I didn't know if I wanted to play the games or I wanted to go ahead and play with the remote control, train set. That's how I feel right now, man. Like, I don't even know where I want to start today, man. So you know what? Let's start where we should really start first, man. I thank God for y'all plugging into this today. I thank God for this opportunity to be able to share with you guys a platform that's going to allow you guys to have all your dreams come true. So I'm going to ask you this one question starting off. If you had all the time, okay, and all the money to live however you wanted to live, what would you do different? Where would you go on vacation? Let's start there. Would your address change? Would your postal code or zip code change? What kind of house do you want? Close your eyes right now as I'm talking to you. I want you to imagine the house that you want to live in. What kind of floors are they? Okay, are they wood floors? Okay. How many rooms is it? How many square feet is that home? Is it made out of brick? Is it made out of wood? Is it made out of stucco? What color is that dream house that you have? Okay? I hope you're following me right now. My eyes are closed. I'm trying to participate with y'all. How many car garages is that garage? Is it a 3-car garage, 4-car garage, 5-car garage? How many levels is that house? Is it 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels? And where's that house located? Is it on a hill overlooking a city? Or is it right next to a beach? Is it in the mountains? Because you just love nature and you want to just have that peace and wake up and it's quiet. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a 10,000 square foot log cabin over by this private lake. Or maybe, you know what? Your dream is similar to mine. And you want to have your own island called Rhodes Island, but it's not in Greece. Okay? Now, as we just did that, I want to ask you, how did that feel? When you closed your eyes and started imagining the life you want to live, the house you want to have, imagine the cars that you want to drive. Imagine the time, spending quality time with your children, with your significant other, your spouse. What did it feel like? Is that how it feels like when you go to the job? You go, oh, HD, you just crushed my dream. I'm not trying to do it for you. I want you to think about how that last couple minutes felt when you were just imagining your dream, you were creating it. Because that's what God created you to do. See, God created everything, okay, in 6 days. Everything you see and don't see. Everything you're going to know or ever know. All the wisdom that you could ever attain or not. He created it all in 6 days. And the greatest part about this is when he created you from the dust of the ground and he molded you, okay, he blew his breath of life into you and you became a living being on this earth, okay? And the coolest part about it is he told you to go out and have dominion on this earth, man, okay? And the great thing is he created you in his likeness and his image. So he created you to be a creator just like them. And that's what we're just doing. We're creating your future, your destiny. He put goals and dreams and gifts in you, and we just close your eyes. And whatever you visualize, that house, that car, the location, man, when I start talking about, your spouse, if you imagine yourself running on the beach with your spouse, playing, flying a kite or playing ball with your kids, you know what? We're going to take that from that vision, from the spiritual realm, and today, right now, we're going to start working on creating that in the physical world. That's what we're going to do today. Because I'm going to introduce you to a vehicle that's going to allow you to live your dreams, your goals, and your vision today. Okay? But what I got to do is we're going to take a short, real quick break in the future. We're going to go back in time. Because what you got to understand is why you're where you are right now today. And I'm going to show you how to get out of it and how to live those dreams and goals we were just enjoying. Okay? But I got to take you back so that you understand and everything makes sense so that, you know what, in your mind, you're like, oh, okay, I can see. It's kind of like if your life was a book. You understand where chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is, right? But before we can go to chapter 6, 7, and 8 and be able to just man, get to the climax. You know, we got to start back at the beginning. Okay. So what happens is this is how we got here. How are you trading your time for money? Is because, you know what? At the turn of the century, okay, North America, we went from the agricultural age to the Industrial Revolution. Billions of dollars changed hands. Billionaires were created because they were at the right time in the right place and they stuck their claim. They put a stake in it and said, by golly, you know what? I chase gold. I chase diamonds. You know, come on. There's a lot of people when they moved to North America, you know, the gold rush, everyone's trying to mine gold. Come on. But you know what? In the Industrial Revolution, the gold went from the land now to the factories. And a lot of factories started, you know, popping up everywhere. And what happens, you know, I'll give you an example. You look at Motor City in Detroit. Ford, you know, he's creating his Ford vehicles, and then his competitors start creating their Chevy vehicles. Come on, GM started making their GM vehicles, and factories started just boom, exploding. Come on. In the urban areas, man, in the cities, 90% of the population started moving out of their land and their farmlands to the city to be able to make more money. Now, as they started to do that, they're making more money before. Okay, people buying their houses, and they're, you know, man, we're setting up their houses, and yet schools being built, and a lot of the schools were being built because all these factories that were being built, they needed a way to be able to train their employees. And so that's when everyone had to go to public school, and you learned how you're going to operate in a factory in school. Okay. Fast forward, as technology continued to speed up and change, businesses speeded up and changed. So you know what? We went from the railroad and the steam engine moving products and services, you know, from the manufacturer to the retailer, okay, to as technology continued to change, you know what? We went from people having hundreds of women, you know, and men answering the phone in the office, and one full level in the office building that was, you know, in one of these cities, and say there's like 13 to 20 story high buildings. Talking about, man, 100 years ago. And then all of a sudden, as technology got better and the buildings started going higher, when the phones were getting better, no more did they need 100 employees answering the phone. They only needed 5 to 10. Okay? That's what we're seeing as technology went. You know what? All of a sudden, logistics was where that money was going. No longer was everything being shipped just by the railroad or the steam engine, right? Then all of a sudden, we had logistics where you had companies like DHL. We had companies like Federal Express. We had companies in which, you know what, UPS, they started moving the products, okay, from the East Coast to the West Coast and back, vice versa. Everyone was going through Highway Route 66, moving their products and services. But as things started to consolidate in corporate America, okay, it also started to consolidate in the way they move their product and services. And they started building up hubs throughout the United States. And as they started to streamline the distribution system, you had direct sales companies popping up out of nowhere going, hey, instead of you guys spending the billions of dollars in advertising the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, college championship, Wimbledon, okay, the PGA Tour, you know what? We have our own sales force. And you know what? We'll go ahead and take on the cost of even shipping your product. So you're going to save more money. And big companies said, that's a great idea. Because these big companies wanted to be leaner, meaner, more profitable. Come on, they had bean counters who were like, nah, man, we got to make sure if we say we're going to make X amount of money this quarter, we got to find a way to cut the budget. And they started cutting employees, but they found ways to keep making more money. Okay. Now, where am I going with this? You know what? This is where I'm going, man. As things went from the Industrial Revolution, okay, to streamline distribution, and we had these direct sales companies, they started cutting out the middleman so that they streamline distribution of your products going from the manufacturer to the end user. Okay, through catalogs, people were being able to pick up the phone, order their products, boom, it's being shipped from a local, you know, distribution center and getting it right to their house. Okay, now, you know what? Why is that important? Because people who were in that 40-40 plan start getting out because they're starting to make millions of dollars in a 2 to 5 year plan. Now, as we went forward and we started going towards what we know as the .com age, you know, someone like Jeff Bezos got smart. He goes, I've seen how they streamline distribution, but with technology, I see an opportunity. They're going to do it even more. So he said, even though Starbucks is connected to Chapters, Starbucks is connected to Barnes and Nobles, because of technology, I still believe that with my dream and my vision, that I'm going to be able to leverage this technology to become the #1 book, you know, distributor in all of North America. And guess what? When you look today, he did just that. In fact, he's not only the #1 book distributor in North America, toys. What happened to Toys R Us, man? Toys R Us is closing everywhere in Canada and the U.S. Why? Because everyone was buying their toys on Amazon.com. I watched the college basketball games for March Madness on Prime. So he isn't only the #1 distributor of toys, clothing, health and beauty, and he started off in books, but now he has his own cable where I can streamline and watch boxing, MMA, whatever on Prime. He's now even, if you think about it, who's he competing with in Prime? Netflix? Come on, man. I know you see where things are going with that. So what happened is he got in and took advantage of a trend, okay? And it was the trend that was changing the economy allowed him to go from start to where he is and to be able to literally still become #1, even though companies like Barnes & Nobles and Chapters have been in business for decades before him, okay? The same thing we see happening right now in social media. We have social media content creators who are literally being able to go from zero to making millions of dollars literally a month, not even just a year, in a matter of 3 to 6 months. Why? Because as technology is speeding up, they're able to have more influence, you know? So now they have major corporations that are paying them. You have major platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok paying these people millions of dollars a month because of their following, because you know what? They have eyeballs, because you know what? They're influencers. And guess what? Because of AI technology, now you have an opportunity to do that very thing. And you go, HD, how am I going to do that? Well, here's the beautiful thing about it, is because the gift that God put in your heart, the vision he put in your heart, guess what? It's not meant for you to hold on and keep. You know, if you go look at the story of the rich man before he's going out of town, and he gave his servants. He gave one servant 5 talents. He gave another servant 2 talents. He gave a third servant 1 talent. And when he came back, he had an account. He made them be accountable for what they did with the talents he gave them. The one who had 5 talents said, Lord, you gave me 5 talents, and he brought 5 more back. He said, well done, my faithful servant. The one who had 2 talents came to him and he said, Lord, you gave me 2 talents and I brought you back 2 more. He said, well done, my faithful servant. But the one who had 1 talent, he said, Lord, I know that you sow where you ain't reap, and you reap where you ain't sow, and that you're very, abrasive man. He goes, so I took the talent you gave me and I buried it. And he goes, you wicked and slothful servant. You should at least put your talent into the exchangers. Okay, and at least I could have came back and got your talent with interest. But then he took the one from the one who had 1 talent and gave it to the one who initially gave 5, who had 10. And the point of the story in the Bible, he said, those who are faithful with little will be faithful with much. God has given you gifts, and he's going to come back, and there's going to be a reckoning on what you did with your gifts. Now, if you go, Lord, I went to school, I got a good education, I got a good job, and I sat on this talent because I made sure I paid our bills, what you think he's going to say to you? When there's people like Matthew Plante, who I found out 4 weeks ago, he was homeless. Matthew Plante was homeless when I met him 4 weeks ago. In the last 3 weeks, after he got baptized and gave his life to the Lord, we prayed and took him to church, and the Holy Spirit, we prayed for the Holy Spirit to come on him. In the last 3 weeks out of a homeless shelter, he's been recording his music. He's been writing his lyrics. He's been selling beats and selling lyrics. And he just released his first album online for the grace of God and the glory of God. And he sold almost 500 albums in 1 day yesterday. Are you kidding me? Now think about what I just said. When the Lord comes back, he's going to say, I gave him 1 talent, and this man was homeless. Last week, I remember we were talking. He got a call from a U.S. radio station wanting to play his single. Come on. What are we talking about? What are you doing with your gifts and talents? You go, HD, what's this got to do with business? Because today's business, I'm sharing with you, is excuse taker away. After today, you're not going to have any more excuses of why you didn't get your book written, why you didn't get your book on a platform, why you ain't sold your book. There's no more excuses, because with this platform, this is what we do with this platform. I'm introducing you to a platform where you're going to have not just visibility, because you got that on social media. You can take your book to Amazon and have visibility. But my best friend, Jerome Majette, who introduced me to this company, he told me he was paying $1,500 a month to try to drive traffic for people to buy that book. Not only that, he went and created his YouTube page. And if it wasn't for the fact that he took attraction marketing, and he actually is going to be teaching that in here. That's something, a tip you want to take notes. Jerome Magette is going to be teaching attraction marketing, okay? This is the same class that Myron Golden, okay, M-Y-R-O-N, Golden, who's making $10 million literally a year on social media, talking about digital products, which is what your gifts is, by the way. He took attraction marketing, but had to pay over $10,000 for it. Jerome Magette's going to be teaching that class right here on this platform of VYB, okay, for no more than $20 a course. $20. I told you today, we're taking all your excuses away. You got a dream, you got a goal, you got to give. God gave it to you. Now, I'm introducing you to a platform that you're going to learn how to monetize that. HD, I don't even know how to brand myself. That's okay. At VYB, we got VYB branding. HD, I don't have anyone who believes in my dreams and goals. That's taken away. I'm introducing you to entrepreneurs, people who've made 6, 7, and 8 figures, who they believe in you. They literally got the books that you can read. Okay. You got mentors. We got technology to go ahead and help you build not only this platform we built, you got banks, you got technology to build your own website. We got AI included. So your chat GPT, everything you need, all included. HD, but how do I know people are going to buy my product? How do I know they're going to buy my paintings? How do you know they're going to buy my cups? How do I know, I got an idea for gear. How do I know we're going to sell it? That's all right. We're going to help you do that. This platform is created to help you get visibility, which means people who are qualified buyers to want to buy your product. But HD, I don't got the money to be able to produce the hats and the shirts in which I want to design. That's okay. We got VYB Styles. We bought over 40,000 square foot of warehouse. So that guess what? People like you who have products in which they have imagination they've already designed, but they don't have the money for the material, we got you taken care of. HD, but I really want to start my own business, but I don't got the money for it. That's okay. We got VYB Venture. And VYB Ventures is what? We got venture capitalists ready to invest in your business. You just need to come to school here so that we can go ahead and help you put together your business from step 1 to done. We'll help you with the marketing, the sales, the branding. Hello, we're going to help you get the visibility. We even got VYB Spotlight. What's that? You know what? Once we help you get everything done from step 1 to done, we're going to even help you get visible. We're going to run commercials for you on VYB Spotlight so that you can get the attention of all the people in 160 countries that we're licensed to do business online. And they're all going to know about your product, your business. What's your excuse now? HD, how much does it cost? I don't know. You know what? If it costs $1,000, $1,000 for an opportunity to live your dreams, your goals, it don't cost that. But I'll give you an example. When I first talked to one of my friends named James, he teaches music. He so loves music so much, man, that he not only teaches music, okay, he's one of the baddest bass guitar players down in Dallas, Texas. He doesn't only teach music classes, he performs at jazz concerts with famous jazz musicians, okay? He loves music so much, he plays music every weekend. He's sitting up there performing for his church. Hello? When I introduced James to this, I said, James, you know what the best thing about this is? You already know how to teach music, okay? So it means you're an educator. You already got God's gifts and talents, but now I'm going to put you on a platform that has 70,000 entrepreneurs in 160 countries who've already opted in during pre-launch, okay? Now, all these business owners got at least 100 customers. They're in business already. So you take 100 customers of 70,000 business owners in 160 countries. Last time I checked, that's 7 million eyeballs looking at you. Hello. I said, you think that there's at least 1,000 people out of those 7 million people who are going to want to learn, how to play music from a professional musician who performs with famous jazz musicians? He's like, yeah. I said, great. So if you charge $25, for the course for 1 month and you have 1,000 people sign up, is that not $25,000? Come on, man. What you talking about? And if these people aren't available to come to your live class because they have a job, then guess what? Everything we have is also recorded so that they can go ahead and they come online and they can learn how to play that bass guitar. Now, here's the best part about it. I just showed James how to make $25,000 in his sleep. So if each person who comes to his class invited one person because, man, he was adding the value and they were getting results, then that means the second month, you know what? There'll be 2,000 people taking this course, which means he'd make $50,000, okay, that next month in his sleep. Okay, that means the third month now, he went from 1,000 to 2,000. So if 2,000 people invited one person, that third month, that means there'd be 4,000 people. 4,000 people at $25 per person. He's now made what? He's went from 25,000 in his sleep to 50,000 in his sleep to $100,000. Now, if you do that out, okay, if we go ahead and teach you how to go ahead and do that out for 12 months, I just showed him how to make $1.2 million. So you explain to me again what your excuse is. If this costed $1,000 and we're going to help take you from step 1 to done, and it costs you $1,000 to be able to make over $100,000 a month in your sleep, you see what I'm saying? That's why we're on this live right now. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So let me back up. You go HD, but you know, it sounds good. So let me explain to you what the reality is. If you don't decide to go with this platform, okay, and take the opportunity to monetize your dreams and goals and your vision, okay, we're not going to talk about what God's going to call you, slothful, wicked servant, because you took the talent and you hid it. No. Let's talk about what you're doing right now, okay? You're on a 40-40 plan, and at the end of that 40 years, you're going to try to retire off of 40% of what you couldn't get by. So let me explain to you why you're not going to be able to get by that. I told you, I was a financial consultant working for banks in the mortgage and real estate industry for over 10 years. If you've seen any of my videos before, you understand this already, okay? So there's 4 things that's eating away at your income right now that most people don't realize. It's an invisible drain on your finances. It's the reason why most marriages are stressed and strained. A lot of people go, no, it's because I'm working so hard and we don't get to see each other. I said, exactly. So let me tell you why you're working so hard. It's because the number one and worst part about these income drains is they're invisible, like inflation. Inflation doubles the cost of living every 10 years. So that means if you graduated from college this year in 2025, right, that means in 10 years, you're going to have to be making $200,000 to be at the same level if you're making $100,000 today. Congratulations, all those who just graduated from college. Sorry you're getting the dose of reality today because HD is on one. Hey, I'm on one today, man. I'm excited. And I wanted to get to the point because I want you guys to see how important this is for you guys right now. That means in 20 years in 20 years will be 2045. That means to be able to live at the same level if you're making $100,000 a year right now, you got to be making $400,000. That means in 30 years, in 2055, you're going to have to be making $800,000 a year to live at the same level you are right now in 2025. Now, you know what? You might be encouraged, but do you realize that's more money than the average CEO in the United States makes right now, which is $725,000 a year? Do you realize in Canada, the average CEO only makes $206,000 a year? So what I'm telling you is, you know what? This is the main reason why there's stress and strain in most households and most couples who've been married for 10 and 20 years is because their money's not able to keep up with them. Because you know what? The number 2 problem is if they have a job, a W-2 employee in the U.S. or in Canada, a T4 employee, if they have a job, then they have to pay taxes 3 times. Yeah, they pay taxes before they get their check. So let's say that, you know what, they get their check and guess what? Here's their check right here, okay? They get paid this check $100,000. That's the first thing the government does is cuts it in half. And then what happens? Then they got to make a budget, you know, month after month on what they're getting, okay? And then at the end of the year, in April, guess what? They got to pay taxes. Now, I forgot, on that little budget, every time they spent money, they had to pay taxes again. But you know what? Do you realize if you actually owned your own business, whether it's a home-based business or you went ahead and rented an office space, that you're going to get paid that $100,000 just like that? And the government's not going to take half. Guess why? Because you have all year to be able to spend your money. And at the end of the year, what you're going to do is you're going to basically pay taxes based off the money you have left. So if you spent $60,000 out of that $100,000 and you have $40,000 left, you're going to go see a tax specialist, a business tax specialist. You're not going to go to no H&R Block because you're in business now. And what the first thing that you're going to find out from a business accountant is, guess what? All your expenses that you're using in efforts to be able to make a profit, they're going to help you turn that into a tax write-off. Why? Because it's important for businesses to be profitable so they can hire employees. Once you're able to hire employees, now you're able to take the stress off of the government having to create jobs. And because of that, there's a totally separate tax system that you're under. So the tax system that you're under, okay, is what I'm explaining. The tax system that everyone else is under is, if they say they got a job that's making $100,000 a year, they're only going to get 50% of that. And then guess what? At the end of the year, after they spent money and got taxed on that money, they're still going to have to pay at that $100,000 a year tax bracket, but not a business owner. So that's the second income stream, and it just makes sense for you to own a business. The first income drain I talked about was inflation. As a business owner, guess what? Your business, your product and service, it works as a hedge of protection against inflation. Because as cost goes up of living, guess what? As gas prices go up, so guess what? So does what? The profits, right? Yeah, it keeps up. Your profits as a business owner keeps up with the cost of things, right? So in 10 years, if gas goes from being, say, $2 a gallon and say that it's $4 a gallon, right? Guess what? That gas owner doesn't worry about it because as a business, your prices keep up with inflation. That's your hedge of protection. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that when it comes to how you get paid. Most people have a cost of a living adjustment of maybe 4 or 5%, which is why they always fall. In 10 years, their money is about half as worth as what it was before. Okay. So the third income drain you're going to have to deal with is interest. You know, that's on the mortgage. You have an interest rate. Okay. On a car note, you have an interest rate. When it comes to you just graduated from college, if you took out a student loan, you got an interest rate. What that means is you have a loan at this amount, but whatever that interest rate is, that's how much you're going to have to pay on top of that loan. Okay. Now, if you had a business and you took out a loan like that, guess what? You'll be able to write off that particular debt. And guess what? It will be now a tax write-off. You see, everything keeps coming back to you owning your own business. That's your hedge of protection when it comes to those income drains. The last one and the fourth one is insurance. You got to have insurance for a car. You got to have insurance for a house. You need to have travel insurance if you're going to leave the country. God forbid you get sick 3,000 miles away. But guess what? You also need to have medical insurance. When you add up all these expenses, it only makes common sense for you to own a business because guess what? Now you're keeping your whole check and then all your expenses throughout the year, you're able to be able to write off because you're going to get a good business tax accountant to help you. Now, hopefully that makes sense. Now, 30 years ago, I had a very successful man who got me into the mortgage industry. And I say got me in the mortgage industry. I was blessed to be invited to work for this gentleman who blessed me to not only work for him, but he taught me how to go in business for myself. Okay. And he said to H.D. Rhodes, if you want to become a millionaire, then there's two things you need to know. Number one, you need to learn to talk like a millionaire. How do millionaires talk? They're straight to the point. They get to it. You know what? They rub people the wrong way because sometimes people like to have, these little sugary conversations, like they want to be talked to like, they're 4 years old instead of an adult. But guess what? Sometimes you need to learn to be able to take it straight and someone can give it to you straight. He said, number two, for you to be able to talk like a millionaire, you need to be able to think like a millionaire. And he said, you know how to do that? And at the time I was only 20 years old. I said, no. How do you think like a millionaire? He says to think like a millionaire, you need to read what millionaires read. And right when I was about to ask him what millionaires read, he got a phone call. He got out of his Porsche 911 twin turbo. I looked in the back seat and I seen a book by Robert Kiyosaki called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, I immediately wrote on my hand, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, before he came back. And I was like, I made up in my mind, I'm going to go get this book this minute I get off work today because I want to learn how to think like a millionaire so I can become a millionaire. Because the Bible I read says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And I said, how am I going to leave an inheritance for my children's children if I'm broke? So why do I say that? It's because what happens is most people don't understand. There's some things in which you're doing that, you know what the rich aren't doing. Like number one, rich people don't spend their money on liabilities. They spend their money on assets. And in that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he taught you assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. When you're looking at a business or an investment, that is an asset. The whole point of looking into a business or an investment is because it's something that's going to grow over time, which means it's going to put money in your pocket over time. It's also because those two vehicles are going to give you leverage, which is if you own a business, it's people working for you, making you money. Or if it's an investment, it's your money working for you, making money. If you have a job or if you're self-employed and you have no employees, you have no leverage, which means now you're only allowed to be able to make money based off of how many hours there are in a day. There's only 24 hours in a day. So without leverage, you're going to tap out. So that's the most single important reason why you need to be looking at a business or an investment. Outside of the fact those four income drains, how are you going to deal with inflation, interest, income tax, and okay? How are you going to deal with those things? How are you going to deal with taxes? You're going to get taxed 3 times if you're an employee. How are you going to deal with the interest? You're going to have to pay interest every time you get a credit card, you buy a new house, new car, medical. Okay? How are you going to be able to pay for this stuff? How are you going to pay for the insurance? Okay, all these things are draining your bank account, and that's why you have stress and strain on your life. That's why you have stress and strain in your marriage. Why? Because you guys are working so hard to be able to make money. And, I had a wise man tell me, he goes, HD, I heard in the Bible, that money is the root of all evil. I said, that's good, but why do people spend so much time trying to work for it? Yeah, I'm going to let that sit there for a second. The average person who has a job works 10 to 12 hours a day. You go, no, HD, I only work 8. Did you include your traveling commute to and from your job? See, and this is why we're having this real conversation. If you had your own business or investment, now you have other people working for you, leverage, or you have money working for you, leverage, which means now you don't have to spend 10 to 12 hours, 5 and 6 days a week away from your kids, away from your spouse that you promised to love through riches and poor and sickness and health, through good times and bad. Now you're able to be able to live your life, encourage them, being excited, being able to help them accomplish their dreams, speaking life into them, because as you're literally, success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal or dream. As you're able to start doing that, like you see the smile on my face, ear to ear, baby. You're able to now share that love with your wife, share that love with your husband, share that love with your kids, because you're excited. Every day is an opportunity for you to be able to live that dream, that vision, that goal, that gift that God gave you. So let me go ahead now at this point, and I want to tell you about the owners of the company. You go, HD, who created this incredible platform you're talking about? Okay, this incredible platform you're talking about was put together by none other than Megan and Reagan Lynch and their business partner, Andre. Now, Megan Lynch used to be an English teacher at a big school down in Indiana. And you know what? Her and her sister, her twin sister, okay, they first started an after-school entrepreneurship program because they wanted to give the kids, from the inner city, something to be able to look forward to, a way to be able to make money that was honest and legal, and that something they'd be able to grow, instead of selling drugs, being involved in gangs, because you know what? That was just something that was just really negative, and it was affecting Megan's emotional, having kids coming in, they're depressed, and it was like she came to school to be a counselor, to be a teacher, not a counselor, and it was just heartbreaking, the things that she had to see. And so she decided she wanted to be a solution maker instead of just part of the problem. And so what happened is, as that continued to grow, her and her sister had an idea. They decided to go ahead and to write a grant. They got over $100,000 worth of grant, but the grant money that went to the school ended up getting used to the football equipment, the band. And you know what? Long story short, Megan and her sister decided to go in direct sales because, as I explained earlier, it's one of the fastest ways for you to be able to achieve your goals, okay? When you're starting a business, if you're able to be able to start a business from someone else's platform, it's kind of like owning a McDonald's or a Subway. Having your own private franchise, a system that already works, it allows you to get to the money quicker so that now you can invest that money to what your dreams and goals are. The great thing about this platform is you're the product. Guess what? The business, the product, guess what? It's you. It's whatever you want to do. Unlike any other company I've ever seen before, you don't have to sell their vitamins. You don't got to have to sell their shakes. You don't got to sell their financial products, their insurance. You don't have to sell all that. You are the product with this company. Your vision, your goal, whatever you want to create, that is the product in this company. I've never seen an opportunity like that in my life. Okay, so let's talk about the money. I already talked about, if you started your own business and you wanted to be able to teach people what you're doing, which is a value-added course, okay, you can make millions of dollars a month. I already broke that down. That's only one income stream. Let's talk about the other 4. Second income stream is indirect sales marketing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but imagine this. Direct sales is nothing more than this. Instead of someone going ahead and paying, for a commercial TV ad, an expensive Facebook or YouTube ad, they go, you know what, we're going to pay people who's going to go ahead and bring us customers. So imagine if you went to the gym like I do. Well, I pay for the gym. I haven't been to the gym, I think, but once in 2025. Man, but I keep paying the $50. Why? Because one day I'm actually going to go in instead of just going jogging by there. But what if they offered me an opportunity? They said, you know what, HD, every month you come, you know what, you're already paying $50 whether you come or not. And you know what? You can come and you can work your upper body, lower body. You can work cardio, or you could just walk by the gym. But here's the thing. They said if I invited someone to go to the gym with me, they're going to give them a free membership for 7 days. Now, the cool thing is, imagine this. There goes my earpiece. Cool thing is this. What if they offered me $10 for every person who signed up with them? You know what? That's all direct sales is. They're going, look, instead of us spending all the money for advertising, since you're already a customer with us, if you would refer our business to them, if you would refer our gym to your friends who already want to go work out with you, and they start paying, our $50 a month like you are, we would go ahead and pay you $10. That's all direct sales is. The cool thing is, guess what? This company allows you to participate in that if you want. But if all you want to do is be a content creator, you can make the millions of dollars like I explained in the first, example. Okay. Now, for those people who are already in direct sales and they love direct sales and they love being able to introduce people to new products and new programs, this is, I think, the best one ever. Why? Because guess what? You're talking to people about what they love to do, which is what? They have their own dreams. They have their own goals. They have their own products. They have their own imagination. And that is what this product's all about. Now, the cool thing is, say that they decided that they wanted a membership. I already told you why. We already have all the technology. We already have the mentorship. We have a platform that's literally going to take them from step one to done. They decide they want to go ahead and be on this platform every month while they're paying their membership, just like people pay a membership for Netflix, just like they pay a membership, for any other platform, okay, that they're using. The cool thing is, VYB said that they're going to go ahead and give you a piece of that membership, just like the gym, okay? Now, the greatest thing about it is the third income stream, which I was super excited about, is I didn't understand it at first because I hadn't been in business since 2017. So I leveraged AI technology. I go, you know what? Let me take a screenshot. And I took their compensation plan and then I uploaded it to ChatGPT. And I go, ChatGPT, can you show me the most efficient way to make money on this comp plan? And it was like, boom, in a matter of a couple minutes. And I was like looking at it because it gave me some figures and explained to me that the third income stream, which they call their legend matrix, and it works like this for those in direct sales. Imagine most people have a fast start bonus. We already talked about that second income stream. But now we're talking about the third income stream. The cool thing is this, their matrix, you bring in 3 people, say those people brought in 3 people, you get the message, okay? When you get down to 10 generations deep in their matrix, okay? Now what happens is this, there's a total of about 60,000 people. Now every time all those people from level 10 all the way to level 1, they pay their monthly membership, this company's going to pay you, imagine, between $3 to $5 bill. Now, here's the cool thing. If they're a content creator, if they're an educator, if they're an entrepreneur, they're paying to be able to sell their products and services of business on this platform. You're going to get $5 for every single one, all the way down 10 levels. When ChatGPT did the math, the number blew me away. It was over $442,000 per month off those $5 bills. I was like, am I seeing this correct? But then it gets better because there's still 2 other income streams. There's a 100% match and a 50% match. And basically what that means is that just goes back to my original, example of the gym membership. Every time I paid every time I paid the $50 at the gym and the gym was going to give me $10, that's the 100% match. Imagine, guess what? Whatever they're making, that $10 they're making for inviting their friend, I'm making. Now here's where it gets better. The next level, their friends who invited friends, that's the 50%. Instead of getting the 100% override, I'm getting 50%. When you add up all those checks monthly off of those 5 income streams, just off the last 3, it was over $972,000 a month. Now you go, HD, those are pretty big numbers. And I challenge you, do it. You know what? DM me. I'll send you a video. You go through the compensation plan. You watch the presentation. It's going to be more, corporate than what I gave you just now. But I want you to take a picture of the compensation plan. They got a 1-page compensation plan. And you take a picture, you put it in ChatGPT and go, show me the best way to make money with this compensation plan. And I guarantee you, you're going to be calling me so excited. I'm going to have to hold the phone out here because your mind's going to be blown that you just see not just 1, but 2 ways to be able to make over $1 million a month living your dream, selling your gift, selling your product. Whether it's just t-shirts, hats, maybe you're making these specialty vases for flowers. Maybe your idea is that, you know what, like Martha Stewart made billions of dollars doing gardening, but everyone where you live in your city says that you have the most beautiful garden, and you're going to teach people how to do what you do. Okay? You know what? Maybe you teach karate like my best friend down in Washington, Big Rob. When I called Rob, he said, hey, HD, you know, I know you want to talk business, but I don't want to hear about anything except for, unless you're going to show me how I can make money teaching karate the rest of my life, I'm not interested. I said, Rob, I got good news. Take a phone next time you're going to teach your classes in karate. Because Rob spent 18 years in Taiwan. Hello. Rob is like a certified black ninja. You know what I'm saying? He like, I don't know how long it takes to be able to break boards, but I guarantee you they had to teach him that over the last 18 years in Taiwan as well. The great thing is, I told Rob, he's already teaching karate classes and martial arts. I said, all you got to do now is just record it. Now, what you do is you decide how much content you want to put in for your first month and call that course 1. Then for the second course, you're going to do it for the next month, right? So he had 1,000 people sign up for his course and he charged them only $20. Then guess what? Rob's going to make money in the daytime teaching karate, but he's going to make over $20,000 that at nighttime that first month for all those people in 160 countries who wanted to learn from the Black Ninja, Big Rob. Now, if everyone who took that class online, they decided to just refer one friend because they lost weight, you know, the guys were getting cut, the women were sitting up here losing weight, their energy was going through the roof, it's almost summertime, and everyone referred just one. Now that means second month he'd have 2,000 people in his class. 2,000 people at $20 each is over $40,000. Now let's go to, you know, the third month. You go, hey, Steve, why you always give us a 3-month adventure? A 3-month example. It's because, you know what, in business, everyone likes to have quarterly reports. So I'm trying to give you a report for quarter 1, month 1, month 2, month 3, first quarter. Month 3, since everyone referred one more person, okay, he went from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4,000. 4,000 people paid him $20 in month 3. That means Rob would have made $80,000 in his sleep. Now, I don't know what your dreams are. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what the dollar figure you have on it. But what I do know is this is the #1 platform on the planet. And you have an opportunity for the first time in your life to take your dreams, your vision, and get all the help you need professionally to be able to take your business from step 1 to done. Okay? Now, if you want to get more information, feel free to DM me. I'll send you, you know what, a couple videos. I'll send you a very short video that's 2 minutes. That's going to go ahead and just break down, you know what, the trends. I'm going to send you a 3-minute video that's going to help you to be able to start dream building and start really looking at what are your gifts, what are your dreams, what are the things that God put in your heart that you'd rather be doing instead of going to work every day. Okay. Number 3, I'm going to send you a 15-minute corporate video, which is going to explain all the things I just did over the last half hour. But it's going to be, you know what? It's going to be condensed. It's going to be very corporate, and it's going to get to the point a lot faster than I did today. So if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and DM me. I appreciate you guys taking your time to come on my live today. And you know what? If there's nothing else I hope you got from this is, now's the time. With AI coming, people are losing their jobs left and right. But guess what? I also want you to understand God has answered your prayers. If you've been praying every night going, God, you know what? I don't know what's going to do. Technology's taking over jobs left and right. The economy's not doing this. Economy's not doing that. Guess what? God just answered your prayers. Now's your time. This is a place for you to be able to live your dreams and monetize your goals. I'm HD Rhodes. I'm out.